Human beings have a tragic habit of realizing the value of moments only when they become memories. We spend so much of our lives waiting for life to begin, waiting for the next chapter, the next opportunity, the next version of ourselves, the next moment where everything finally feels complete. And while we are busy chasing tomorrow, today quietly disappears. 10 years pass, and suddenly the moments we overlooked becomes the moments we miss the most. The good old days never feel like the good old days while we are living them. We think fulfillment exists somewhere ahead of us, so instead of truly experiencing life, we observe it, while mentally standing in the future. But one day, without warning, a smell, a song, an old photo, or a random afternoon reminds you of a version of life that no longer exists. And the ordinary moment you barely paid attention to suddenly becomes sacred. Remember the conversations, the streets, the people, the energy, the simplicity, and even the struggles. And for a moment, you would give anything to step back into a time you once rushed through. That is the irony. Human beings are constantly homesick for moments they failed to fully inhabit when they had them. We keep treating the present like a bridge to somewhere else instead of realizing it's life itself. And maybe that is why nostalgia hurts. Not because the past was perfect, but because we realized too late that it was real. There were sunsets we barely looked at because we were distracted. People we thought we will always have and will always be there. Versions of ourselves we didn't appreciate enough. Ordinary days that later became priceless memories. The terrifying thing about this life is that you never know when you're inside a moment that will one day break your heart with nostalgia. You never know when something is becoming the good old days. And maybe that is why the present matters a lot. Because eventually, every living moment turns into memory. Every laugh becomes an echo. Every season becomes a photograph. Every phase of life quietly ends while we are busy planning the next one. The future has a strange way of stealing the present from us. We are taught to optimize life, to plan it, to chase goals, to think ahead constantly. But very few people are taught how to actually be here, how to sit inside a moment completely, how to notice life while it is happening, how to experience time instead of merely surviving it. And the truth is, the past feels safe because it is already complete. We know how the story ends. We survived it. That certainty it creates a level of comfort. But the present is uncertain. It's messy, it's unfinished. So the mind escapes into either nostalgia or anticipation. The past and the future become psychological hiding places from the vulnerability of now. But now is all we truly have. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, only this moment, this conversation, this breath, this season of your life. And maybe the goal is not to create a perfect life. Maybe the goal is to become present enough, but when these goals eventually become memories, you can honestly say, I was there. Not physically, not as a spectator, not distracted by who I wanted to become next, but fully there, feeling it, living it, experiencing it. Because one day, even this version of your life will disappear. The person around you will change, the places will change, you will change, and someday, without realizing it, you will look back at this period of your life and call it the good old days. The question is whether you actually lived them or you had them. Goodbye.